Okay, let's go down underneath the TT and see what the engine is like. Oh dear, this is very, very oily. That's not good. Huh. Like gearbox oil. Oh, I don't gearbox. No, it doesn't smell like gearbox oil because it'd be stink if it was. It does look a lot like engine oil. Let's touch it. No, it's not sticky at all. It's very light. Okay, yeah, it's probably engine oil. Right, okay, we have engine oil leaking. That side of the engine is spotlessly clean. It's only leaking over here. I thought originally it was gearbox oil, but it's not. So, check the CV joints. That CV joint is clean. That one, somewhere up there, looks pretty clean. Let's have a look up here. Okay, so way off up there, right in the center of the screen, there's a coolant pipe. It's oily, but obviously it can't be because it's coolant. That's the air intake right beside it. So somewhere north of that is where it's leaking oil. Okay, let's check the dipstick. Pull it out. And oh dear, we are down to the very bottom of the crosshairs. So yeah, it's going to be fairly easy to do an oil change because there's not much oil in it, but we have to find out where it's leaking from. Okay, so now on top of the engine, it's very, very clean. Like, what can be leaking? Like, I did think it was actually leaking out of the filler. It's not. Check it around, it's actually spotlessly clean. Like, there's no oil leaks anywhere. Like, even the side here is spotlessly clean. Like, where is it leaking out of? Okay, if you know where it could possibly leak out of, leave a comment in the comment section down below. So don't really know where the leak is. What I do know is it's leaking somewhere roughly there or onto the gearbox. So it's either this side of the engine or the gearbox. And I've been looking around for probably about the last half hour. And if you look really carefully, maybe the light can get in or not. So with a really good inspection at the very back of the rocker cover gasket where the rear cam is, just where that little line is sticking out there, at the very bottom, it's incredibly difficult to see, but there's a very small weep just there, and I think that little tiny weep over a long period of time will both drain the engine oil, which it has done. The engine oil has dropped down about a quarter of the dipstick, and maybe you can't see it down there, but the whole gearbox is completely soaked. So how I found it was we said roughly it's somewhere here in the middle. This pipe, where has it gone? There's a pipe down there anyway, underneath the air intake. It was soaking wet. It can't be wet because it's a hose pipe for a coolant. Just above it, it's dripping. You can see it there now. There's a tiny weep. I know it's so difficult to see, but the gearbox and the engine and everything is so destroyed and oily underneath. It has to be it, and I can't just leave it because it is leaking engine oil. So we're going to change the engine oil, we're going to change the filter at the same time, and we're going to fix this rocker cover gasket. So guys, now after taking off a million parts, it's ready to come off. So we have the rocker cover loop.
Whoa. Okay, so if you want to see how I'm actually doing this job in step by step, I actually have a video, link in the top description up here or link in the description down below. Check out the comment section, or if I can make it, I'll make a link up here as well. But I actually go through the step by step of how I actually did all of this in a different video.
Okay, and now it's finally off. So we can leave that down there. Okay, so that's the valve cover off, and I think the rocker cover gasket is leaking just there. Okay, so on close inspection, I just can't figure out where it's leaking from. I think it's leaking out of the little gap just here. It's the hole that will be there for when they're drilling the camshaft. And I think it's leaking out of that. I'm not totally sure. It's either that or it's leaking out of the very back. Or else it's leaking on top of the rocker cover gasket, but I'm honestly not sure. So what I'm going to do is just pull it up and clean it down, and probably put new instant gasket maker just underneath it to try and stop any leak that's there. I'm just not sure where it's leaking from. You can kind of just see it there now. Maybe that is it there, look. There's the oil. Just slowly weeping out of it. I think that's where it's coming from. I'm not totally sure. Okay, I think the mystery has been solved. So just after popping up the rocker cover gasket, I think it is leaking there. So we're going to seal it up. Unfortunately, I don't have a new rocker cover gasket because I wasn't planning on doing this fix again. So yeah, you can see that's the half moon. You can see just there on the screen, and just underneath it, you can see all the oil just sitting there. It is obviously leaking out of it. Not really sure why it's leaking out of it. Okay, so we have another look at it here. I actually think it's actually leaking just at the corner where this big high bit goes back down to the normal level. It's just leaking down the corner. It's so difficult to see. But what I've done is I've put a little bit of instant gas maker the whole length of it, including into the half moon at the back, and then down into the very corner. So it's just smeared the whole length along. Not quite sure where it's leaking from, but it's at the corner of this bit here is where I'm suspecting it's leaking from, and then it's leaking down into the half moon. It's not actually leaking in the half moon. So that's where I think it's leaking. I'm not 100% sure. What I've done is just smeared instant gas maker just the whole length along here, and somewhere it's leaking and it's going to fix it, is my understanding of it. Why I think it's actually leaking here at the very corner, just where the level goes from the high bit down to the normal level, is because there's a channel here and then there's no channel, and then it's going into half moon, and it's only about, I don't know, what is that, 2 centimeters, 1.5 centimeters long. I think it's leaking on that piece there. Hopefully that'll fix it and we won't have to do this job again. Okay, now we have the rocker cover back on. Now time to put literally everything back on. Okay, now finally with all the manifold and everything back on, hopefully no more leaks. So let's finish this oil change and then we can start the engine and check. Now after letting the engine run for about the last 10 or 20 minutes, we can have a look inside if we can. But basically no more leaks, so that's a win!
So guys, so thanks very much for watching. That's just the fun of working on old cars. Just stuff goes wrong, it just happens. So anyway, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe down below. And as always, thanks for watching. See you later. Whoa. Okay, so if you want to see how I'm actually doing this job in step by step, I actually have a video, link in the top description up here or link in the description down below. But I actually go through the step by step of how I actually did all of this in a different video.